Hey guys, I'm Blake Rosenthal. This is Vikram Volador. This is Nick Pasquini, and that's Jacob Bowers.
And this is the Crunch Time Show.
We are all huge sports fans, and we made this channel to discuss our views of the sports world. Now let's get started.
Okay, Antonio Brown. Is he gonna fit with the Patriots or not?
I mean, depends about if he's in trouble right now. He's in some trouble right now, so depends if he's cleared or not.
I think from a fit standpoint, it's perfect. You have Antonio Brown, who's a great deep threat. Tom Brady can throw the ball all over the field. He is aging, but he's still a great quarterback. He still has the arm strength he's always had. I think and Antonio Brown helps the Patriots take the top off other defenses. I think this is a great fit for the Patriots.
Yeah, and remember, Antonio Brown was the #1 receiver last year. I think he'll fit in anywhere he goes, actually.
I don't agree with that. We saw how he worked in Oakland for the
He didn't even play
for the
good.
3 weeks. For the 3 weeks he was there, and plus now that I think he's gonna be fine in New England, but now with Josh Gordon back and doing really good, and Antonio Brown, they had a 1-2. It's Julian Edelman before last year. They only had Julian Edelman and some other receivers. But yeah, I think it would be great for the Patriots.
So, what are the fantasy implications of Antonio Brown going to the Patriots?
If you're playing PPRs, I don't think he's going to score as big as he did last year. The Patriots wide receiving core is stacked. Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown. They're going to spread the ball out a lot. And he's going to get less catches because of that.
I don't think this really matters for the running backs. I think that James White in PPR is still a great running back 3, running back 2. I think Sony Michel will still get a lot of carries. I think the Patriots are still a running team. Their offensive line is great. But when it comes to Julian Edelman and Josh Gordon, I think their targets will go a little down, and I think that affects them a pretty good amount.
Wait, you said they're a running team?
Yeah, Patriots are a running team.
So newsflash: Antonio Brown on the team. Antonio Brown's gonna throw his season that he uses. Well, their Patriots, as of the last week, are now a passing team. Especially with the best quarterback of all time.
And one of the best receivers in the league now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they like to spread the floor, or the field, spread the ball around. Especially Tom Brown. Tom Brady loves these little dump offs to his running backs and receivers, and yeah, I think that'll give James White a bunch of extra catches, and he'll be really good for a PPR league.
So do you think they're just gonna go 5 receivers a lot, just a spread, or do you think they're gonna do a spread with 2 and 2?
No.
With a tight end or something?
I think they're gonna go 3 receivers at most. I think they're
on one side or 2 and 1?
No, 2 and 1. I think that's gonna be their base offense. That's what they've done in the past. They don't have Rob Gronkowski anymore, but Matt Lacoste, keep that name in mind. He's a great tight end from Denver. And then keep in mind, Benjamin Watson comes back after week 4. So that will add another tight end to the Patriots' aerial attack. Is Lamar Jackson a top 10 quarterback? What do you guys think?
Someone else go.
I think it's slightly too early to say if he's a top 10.
All right, get lost, all of you. You're fired. Go on, scram. Get out of here, you moochers. That's right. Keep moving. You know what? Yeah. Except you stay.
Quarterback or not, he played the Dolphins week 1. It's not like he played a solid defense. The Dolphins, they have players on their team who want to leave the team. They're not a solid defense. They're horrible defense.
So do you think any quarterback in the league can put up 400 plus yards and 5+ touchdowns?
Not necessarily, but that doesn't. Not all quarterbacks in the league
we'll see
are considered to be top 10.
So the Cleveland Browns, they're one of the most hyped teams in recent history this offseason. They acquired Odell Beckham Jr. and Olivier Vernon via trade from the Giants, and added many key pieces to their team. Drafted Baker Mayfield last year, and then they came out this season and got destroyed by the Titans at home. Their offensive line looked terrible. Baker Mayfield threw 3 picks and fumbled the ball. It just did not look good for the Browns. But are they still a contender in the AFC? What do you guys think?
Yeah, because you can't judge everything off of week 1. Some players have outbreaks week 1. Some players do terrible week 1. As you saw with Baker.
Yeah, like you said, there's some players who you might never even heard of, who went out there and caught 2 touchdowns, for example, or whatever. And that happens all the time. So you really can't judge off week 1.
I think it all depends if the Browns need to become more disciplined under Freddie Kitchens. During the whole game, penalties, stupid penalties that there's no need for. Greg Robinson got ejected for kicking someone in the face, totally unnecessary, which weakened their line. And Baker Mayfield, he needs to throw the ball better. And they just need to become a disciplined team.
I mean, you look at that trade during the offseason, the Odell Beckham Jr. trade looked pretty good, but the trade I want to talk about, it went a little more under the radar. Their best offensive guard, Kevin Zeitler, for Olivier Vernon. Now, that was a trade that at the time, most people thought the Browns won. But now you look at the Browns' offensive line, and they're getting demolished by the Titans. That does not look good. I mean, they traded away a really good offensive lineman for more of a name than a pass rusher. So the offensive line, I think, could be a big problem for Cleveland in the end. I mean, you look at some of the teams in the AFC, like the Chiefs with a fearsome defensive line. I mean, Titans, the Texans with J.J. Watt, and the Broncos even, Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. Those teams, those
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out.
The Redskins and the Giants have a really bright future. They both have rookie QBs. I think Daniel Jones will get a chance to play this year. I'm not sure about Dwayne Haskins. I'd rather have him sit. But I think they're both really good young QBs, and the future is bright for both of those teams.
So which of them do you think is going to end up being better?
You see, Daniel Jones in the preseason looked a lot better, but I think Dwayne Haskins has more raw talent. If the Redskins put more pieces around him, I think he can be a great quarterback in the NFL. In the NFC East, who has a brighter future, the Redskins or the Giants? They both have rookie quarterbacks, second-year running backs. Who do you guys think has a brighter future?
Well, I think their whole offense is going to be based around Saquon Barkley. He's a second-year running back, but he's already probably the best running back in the league, which is crazy. And I think they're just going to base their whole game around him because they really don't have any other offensive threats on the team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in the next draft class to see them pick up some offensive linemen or some good defensive players just to help.
You saw the Giants go out in free agency and get Golden Tate to replace Odell Beckham Jr. A little bit of a downgrade, but they still are acquiring.
Yeah, it's a lot now.
They're still acquiring wide receivers. And then you saw the Redskins in the 3rd round draft Terry McLaurin, a wide receiver for Dwayne Haskins to throw to. So I think both teams are trying to establish wide receivers. And I agree. I think we could see them in the next few drafts or the next few free agency periods go out and get a good wide receiver number 1.
Yeah. I could see them getting some linemen too, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
Neither of them have a really good offensive line. I mean, the Redskins have Trent Williams, but besides that,
one thing to monitor with Trent Williams, he probably will get traded soon. Whoever gets him, that's a really good steal. So, now we're moving on to the fantasy portion of our show. Which waiver wire pickups this week for week 2 will be the best for the whole season?
well, there's a couple, at wide receiver especially. We have John Ross. Amendola did pretty good with the Lions against the Cardinals. Hollywood Brown, yeah, he did amazing with Lamar Jackson, of course. But for running backs, we got Ronald Jones did really good.
I think Ronald Jones, he's going to become the starter in Tampa Bay. They drafted him last year, 1st round?
Second.
2nd round, early pick. Peyton Barber's just not their guy. They picked him up off waivers or something. I think Ronald Jones is going to be great. And another guy to look out for, T.J. Hawkinson, wide receiver. I mean, not wide receiver, tight end for the Lions. He's going to be great. Matt Stafford loves throwing that guy the ball.
There are 2 players that, if they're not owned in your league, I think that you should pick them up automatically. There's Darren Waller for the Oakland Raiders. He had no touchdowns last week, but he had 7 catches on 8 targets for 70 yards for the Raiders on Monday Night Football against the Broncos. I think if he's not owned in your league, I think that's a great pickup. There's also Chris Thompson, who is going to benefit greatly from Darius Geis's injury. Chris Thompson's going to get a lot of carries, and he's in PPR formats. That's an even better pickup.
Yeah, well, you didn't mention Hollywood Brown as the top
Yeah.
pickup. I think Hollywood Brown's the best pickup you can possibly get right now if he's not in your league.
Yeah.
Even if Lamar Jackson doesn't do that well in the next couple of games, I still think he's going to be the number 1 receiver on the Ravens with Wilkes Snead.
What I really liked about week 1, there were a lot of tight ends that emerged. I mean, you saw Mark Andrews for the Ravens. You saw Jimmy Graham catch a touchdown for the Packers, which was nice. You saw Darren Waller for the Raiders. You saw Greg Olsen play pretty well. And then you saw T.J. Hawkinson for the Lions. So I like how there's going to be a lot. Oh, and also Austin Hooper for the Falcons. I like how there's going to be a lot. I think there's going to be a lot more viable fantasy tight ends this year than last year.
So one thing that I wouldn't go too crazy about are Ravens players because Lamar Jackson threw 5 touchdowns. Of course, the Ravens receivers and tight ends are going to be great. So on games where Lamar Jackson doesn't play that well, doesn't throw for 300 yards and throw 5 touchdowns, you might not see them getting that much action. So I wouldn't go too crazy for the Ravens receivers or tight ends, but I still think they're a good solid pickup.
Yeah, I think John Ross is really, really solid because he's on the Ravens. And Dalton, of course, did amazing, but John Ross really helped them step into the place that AJ Green left.
If you're picking up John Ross, just remember he's more of a 5 to 7 week option because AJ Green will be coming back from injury, and that will limit John Ross's opportunities severely. So in week 1, who overperformed and who underperformed? Who can you expect more from and who can you expect less from?
Well, first of all, I started Sony Michel on my team at flex, and he barely even touched the ball. He scored like 1 fantasy point. But I think that was a fluke, and I think he'll be handed off the ball more as weeks come. And I still think he's a good, solid starter for fantasy.
Yeah, keeping the theme of running backs. Kerryon Johnson from got 49 yards. Like, that's terrible for Kerryon Johnson against the Cardinals. He should be doing way better than that. Overperformed Lamar Jackson.
Of course.
Lamar Jackson is never going to do that again. And he played the Dolphins. Like, of course, like, it's still impressive. I mean, you can't, it's not easy for an NFL quarterback to do that. But you played the Dolphins, so.
I think you got underperformed, you got James Conner. They were down the whole game against the Patriots, so he didn't get many carries. So James Conner, when the Steelers play easier teams, he'll get a lot of carries. He'll be a workhorse back. He's a great running back on fantasy. And then overperformed, I think you got John Ross. I mean, great waiver wire pickup, but you can't expect 20, 30 points every single week from John Ross. I think he's a solid 10-point flex option every single week. But you can't expect that every week. I mean, you have to remember, some of his points were off of a Hail Mary lob from Andy Dalton that barely went over the defense's hand. That he caught for a touchdown. So you can't expect that much from some of your waiver wire pickups every single week.
So one other person that I think underperformed, not severely, but he did, was Saquon Barkley. He was very hyped up for this week, and he went out there. He still had really good for a number 1 running back.
120 yards.
Yeah, 17, 18 fantasy points. But he didn't score a touchdown, which hurt a lot of fantasy owners' teams. And but I wouldn't be worried. I think he'll be out there scoring lots of touchdowns this year and catching touchdowns also.
I think there's 2 obvious quarterbacks. I think Jakey can think of them. Baker Mayfield and Aaron Rodgers. They both underperformed this week. If you have them in fantasy, don't worry. They'll both be great fantasy options for you in the future.
So one underperformer is Joe Mixon. Came out in the first half with an ankle sprain. I think he should be fine, ready to go for next week. He should put up some big points. And another guy, Aaron Jones. He played a really tough Chicago defense, which totally shut him down and took him out of the run game. And the Packers, they're trying to have a more run-based offense. Even though they have Aaron Rodgers, they're trying to mix in the run more. So I think you should be able to expect some big numbers from him too.
So another person that overperformed, Austin Eckler. He had an amazing game, and not even from the run game. He caught 2 touchdowns and had 6 receptions for almost 100 yards. And every time he has a great game, it totally hurts Melvin Gordon. Because why would the Chargers want to pay Melvin Gordon however much money he wants? They already have a great running back like Austin Eckler.
I think an overperformance was Jameson Crowder from the Jets. I mean, you have Sam Darnold at quarterback, and you somehow still scored 29 fantasy points. Like, it's not going to happen every week. 99 yards, 14 receptions, I believe. I just think you mildly overperformed.
One more underperformance, you got David Montgomery for the Chicago Bears. A lot of people started him, a lot of people drafted him very high, but he did not do as we expected. We saw Mike Davis get a lot of carries, which was surprising. He's still splitting time with Mike Davis and Tariq Cohen, but I think as David Montgomery matures and becomes more acclimated to the NFL game, I think he'll play even better and better and be a better fantasy option for your team.
Speaking of Tariq Cohen, I don't even think he ran the ball once last game, which was very surprising.
He did a little. He ran, but he also ran for negative yards and some plus yards. So he evened out to 0 yards. But I have on my team, and he still got 12 points. because of all the receptions.
Yeah, so if you're in a PPR league, he would definitely be a good player to have.
One more. I think this is kind of a stretch for an overperformance. I think he could end up doing this every week, but I just didn't expect it. Marlon Mack came out with 26 points, I think. I just did not expect that from a Colts running back, especially with their offensive line, how they've been. Like, they're not terrible, but they're not the best. I just don't think that Marlon Mack is going to do 26 every week.
Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to check back in next week for a new episode. And also make sure to go follow our Instagram at @thecrunchtimeshow_. When Victor starts talking, that is it for us this week, folks. Make sure to check in next week.
We're not giving them folks.
Why? That's funny.
Okay, go.
Hey guys, I'm Blake Rosenthal. This is Victor Thorndor. This is Nick Pasquini, and that's Jacob Bowers.
And this is the crunch. Oh my goodness.
Today, we're doing the last to leave the circle challenge. Winner gets to buy whatever they want. And I mean whatever.
Wow.